Happy January 7th. 255 without a cigarette. 113. Drinking 7. Oh. There we go. 7 smoking weed, 7 vaping. 7 days without. 6 out of 7 physical activity. 7 out of 7 flossing. 7 out of 7 meditating. 3 out of 7 core workout. 0 out of 7 cold shock therapy. 2 out of 7 no fap. 5 out of 7 reading. 8 out of 10 physical health. 7 out of 10 mental health. 6 out of 10 career productivity. 7 out of 10 friendships and relationships. And 7 out of 10 general happiness. Day 8,014 out of 14,600. Was up at 7:30. Had breakfast from 7:45 to 8:15. Did some laundry. Took a nap from 8:30 till 11. Then did a back, bicep, and shoulder workout from 11:15 to 12:15. Then I was playing soccer till about 12:30. On call with the car insurance or car rental company till about 1300. And then I was at my mentor's place for about 1400. I had to bike there, pick up the rental, and then drive the rental over, which took a long time. Then we did an 11.3 kilometer walk. We ran at least 3 kilometers of it. Guy's a machine. He's a machine. And then did a quick tour from 4:45 till 5. I was parked back up here for about 6:10. Back here for about 6:35. Did some laundry, cleaned up, had a shower from 7 to 7:30. Studying BPC, which is a body protective compound. I didn't know that actually was standard for that. So BPC 157. It's basically like steroids, but like a growth hormone enhancer, right? So you should look into it, but there's a lot of really important, it's really good for muscle, enhances recovery. Apparently it gives you a surge of dopamine and serotonin, so it actually increases your mood, boosts your mood out during the cycle. Yeah. I'd recommend looking into it. It's a really interesting compound. Emphysema. I was researching emphysema, which is sort of like the alveoli at the lungs, around the lungs. They sort of get burned or popped, or like the walls of the alveoli become disfigured, and they form holes, so they don't really actually exchange oxygen for your lungs properly, and it's a precursor for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, so COPD is what it's called. And I was also looking into PrEP, which is like it's like a HIV preventative treatment that you can do in case you're out there having fun regularly. Then I switched gears at about 9 o'clock and did some EMT foundations. I was understanding a little bit about the legal framework and laws around emergency health services and emergency medical training and their qualifications. So learning a little bit about scopes of practice, medical directions, consent, the different types of consent, informed consent, implied consent, yeah. And then the capacity, like how do you actually evaluate if they're in a position where they have the capacity to make that decision for themselves, or competency to make those decisions, right? Because sometimes there's like advanced directives is what they're called. So some people can sign them and be like, I don't want care in case this happens. So you're not allowed to give care in case that happens. But yeah, then I was doing my and protocols. So protocols are generally established by your medical director for your detachment or whatever, and abide by the protocols, which will outline your scopes of practice, I assume. Anyways, obviously, I just studied it for like an hour, not even 45 minutes. So I'm just regurgitating the stuff that I learned. but whatever. Objective journaling from 10 to 10:30. Journal logging till 10:45. Got 10 minutes to spare. Do meditation till about 11 o'clock, and then I'll be in bed for about 11. We're up early tomorrow. Start at 5:30. Happy Monday tomorrow. Back to work after like a month and a bit off of work, which was, oh yeah. Two roses. I'm happy that my trip to the airport worked out. So I've been dealing with the rental car company for like 4 days. I've called them like 8 or 9 times to check and like follow up. And today, like literally an hour or half an hour before I would have had to call a taxi, everything went through. I got my account created and it just worked out. So you pay for you don't pay for the membership, but you get a membership, you get an account, you get your driver's abstract, give it to them, or you get your driver's abstract from like the provincial licensing corporation, which in BC is ICBC. You give that to the company, and then they have to verify your driver's abstract, get your license, stuff like that. And then there's literally cars parked all over the city, and you just like walk on over to a car, beep 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 beep. It unlocks the car. Everything's like virtual, and then you just get in the car, and then you can do whatever. So yeah. And my account got suspended last year because somebody reported me for dangerous driving. They actually gave a very descriptive list of all these, highway and traffic infractions that I was doing, like smoking weed while driving, along with everybody else in the car that was apparently high while I was driving, which doesn't really happen that often. And I'm not gonna smoke high in a car that's not mine. And then, what was it? Ran a stoplight. Apparently I ran a stoplight and had too many people in the car, and I was speeding and reckless driving and weaving in and out of traffic. So yeah, they gave a very detailed list of all these things that I was doing, and I was like, wow, okay, cool. So apparently they either followed me for a long time or they just didn't like the look of the car and me in it. So anyways, yeah, that sucked. But yeah, got that one sorted out, so we'll see what happens. I don't want to do it for that long because it is expensive. Like, use it for a day and it's like $116, $120. So I want to I might use it until I get my own car, but we'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna get my own car soon. We'll see what happens. But anyways, okay, so I'm happy that I studied and I didn't sleep. I came back, I was tired, I wanted to go back to sleep. This is at like 6 o'clock, and I went and studied instead. I'm really happy that I did because I learned a lot. One thorn, bothered by napping this morning, so that 8:30 to 11 a.m. nap, probably avoidable, but I was tired. And you know what? It's Sunday. I guess you're allowed to recover and relax on Sunday, but still sucked. I'm looking forward to learning a lot this month. One memory, taking the llama for a walk at my the high school that I was at on the weekend at school and getting busted for it. So apparently she had cameras set up everywhere, and she recorded me taking the llama out for a walk. And she held me back after class. Like, this is my teacher, and they held me back after class, and then they're like, so you know that we have like a camera set up? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then and she's like, yeah, don't take the llama for a walk. I can't trust you now. I was like, okay. So whatever. We like went in there to go and clean its pen, and I was like, oh well, llama should be outside and go for a walk. And anyways, whatever. Fitness 4 hours, career 2 hours, living 3 hours, growth 1 hour, rest and recovery 3 hours, and sleeping 11 hours. So I don't really want to talk that long today because I still got 6 minutes, but I'm gonna just elaborate on how I'm breaking down the fitness, career, living, growth, rest and recovery, and sleeping. So sleeping's pretty self-explanatory. It's about 11 hours. Rest and recovery 3 hours. So how do I explain it? Driving, pretty well rest and recovery. You're just recovering. You're not really doing anything. You're conscious. You're moving. Well, you're not really moving. It's like minimal effort is rest and recovery. Living, socializing is in there. The ukulele's in there. I actually have like a whole breakdown of how I divided it up, but for today specifically, living, socializing, like talking to people, it's about 3 hours. Social media, rest and recovery, 3 hours. That was sort of like eating breakfast, sitting down eating breakfast. I just sit there and like eat, wake up. Growth, journaling, 1 hour. Journaling, journal logging, meditating. I'd say that's all part of growth, sort of. Career, 2 hours. Studying, talking. And that's sort of where there's a bit of a line drawn, because there's like living and career, and living is like socializing, and career is like learning and growing my career. And part of my socializing is learning about career. So I sort of like, whatever, approximation between the two of them. And then fitness, 4 hours, pretty self-explanatory. It was an hour and a half approximately workout, so back, bicep, shoulder, and then soccer. And then it was a 2.5 hour long hike approximately, within a little bit. But yeah, that's sort of just my general approximations for the day. But every single day I sort of do that, get an idea of how I'm balancing my days. I've done a lot of extra sleeping because I came back and did like, actually it hasn't been too bad, but since New Year's, sleeping 11 hours. Sleeping 11 hours, sleeping 10 hours, sleeping 10 hours, sleeping 9 hours, sleeping 8 hours, 12 hours, 8 hours, and then today is 11 hours. So I fluctuate, but it's my week off. So tomorrow we get back into it, and I think I'm prepared, pretty prepared. But I don't really want to go back to work, but it's been nice not having to work, but that's how we make bread, and that's how we build our lives. So yeah. That's it. That's all for me. Thanks for tuning in if you are. If you aren't, then you're missing out. As always, toodles.